Hey folks, welcome back to DCS. So today we're going to be flying out the Viper on Contention 80 server. And if you watched my last video, it was flying the F5 on this server. And I said that one of the things that I wouldn't have minded encountering as much was the F-16 because it can't carry Fox 1 missiles. So the essence of today's video is going to be to fly the Viper as if it were a F5 on steroids. Right, yeah, so we're going to put basically wingtip sidewinders on and a centre back, just like we would on the F5, and then go and see if we can get any shenanigans done. So you might be wondering why, despite me saying in the last video I've got a VR headset on the way, I'm not using it today. I do have it now. It arrived on Friday last week, it's currently Wednesday the week after, and I'm just having a lot of issues trying to get it to run smoothly enough to actually use it. And I also had a little bit of issue with my actual ability to not be sick when I'm using it. I get quite egregiously motion sick, especially on boats and in planes. At least small planes. Big planes is fine. Big boats is fine, to be honest, but small stuff that jiggles around, any movement that I can't anticipate makes me feel ill. But what's worse is when I can anticipate, but it doesn't feel how I think it should. So an example is that if you've ever been on a train in a train station and the train next to you starts to move, sometimes you get that thing where you think it's you that's moving when actually it isn't. Well, when that happens to me, I just want to throw up straight away. And VR gives me that feeling immensely. So when I'm just taxiing around, I'll go over there, and obviously me sat in my chair, I'm still kind of looking forwards, but it looks like I'm turning, and I know I'm not because it doesn't feel like I am, and that sort of cross-contamination of what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, I can't hack it. It's going to take me a bit of getting used to. The other thing as well is that VR is so convoluted, it's kind of insane. What I mean by that is that it's not just a case of plugging the headset in like it is with Track AR, hopping online and that's it. The game isn't really designed from the ground up to have VR run it, so it's had to be kind of jerry-rigged by a multitude of third-party software like apps, widgets, programs, that kind of thing, and they all have to interface with each other for the game to run as best it can in VR. And there are about 7 different things you need to download and then tweak to get the best performance out of the game. Now there's a few guides that I was able to follow, but I think I screwed up elements of it by downloading certain softwares in the wrong order, and it's kind of overwritten what should happen. So at the minute DCS isn't actually even working with the headset on. It's on the screen mirror, on my monitor, it's there, but when I put the headset on, I'm not seeing the game through it, but I can still see that moving the headset moves the view in the game. It's a bit weird, but what I'm basically going to do is just delete every single thing I've got in relation to it and start again from scratch. And I know I've just been sat here in a plane looking around and not doing anything. It's quite difficult to talk and do stuff at the same time, so I'll focus down on what I'm actually doing right now. Remove the pile. So what I do have to say at the moment is that my experience has largely been negative, but I don't want to blame Pimax for that because it's not their fault. I do think that if the system was all set up properly, it is probably phenomenally good. It's just that I've not got to that stage yet. So for me, especially with how long it's taken and the fact that I'm essentially just having to start again from scratch, the frustration kind of overrides any positives that I would have had from it, because at the minute when I do get it to work, I'm lucky to see more than 10 FPS online, which is obviously unplayable. And the limitations of VR, I'm struggling to get the IPD correct. So IPD is into pupillary distance, and if you've ever had a pair of binoculars, there's that sort of pivot hinge in the middle where you can change how far apart the lenses are so that it matches the distance your eyes are apart. I can't seem to get that right for my eyes in DCS. It's weird because in the Pimax Play menu in Steam VR, when I'm just watching YouTube and stuff, it's completely fine. But in DCS there always seems to be a disconnect between the clarity of things that are close to me and the clarity of things that are far away, and I can't seem to get them to converge and actually look like one object. It's like I'm always seeing 2 of everything. It gives me a tremendous headache within 5 minutes of putting the headset on. The other thing is that looking behind you with Track AR, right now, to look behind me, I'm only actually turning my head about 20 degrees off center. And if you imagine a human being's neck actually being twisted this far, it is just impossible. So for PvP and dogfighting and stuff, I actually think that VR is quite a big disadvantage because you just don't have the same neck mobility that you do when you're in pancake mode using a headset, a track AR headset, that is, or any other kind of head tracking for that matter, apart from VR obviously. It swings and roundabouts because having not got it set up properly yet, I can't imagine the wow, this is 3D, I'm sat in a real plane feeling trumping the limitations of my actual gameplay. I'd rather be able to look behind me easily and be competitive than it look cool, if that makes any sense. Especially when, despite my computer being quite good, if I put the overlay up right now, I've got it locked to 150 FPS, and it's probably quite unlikely that you'll see it drop below that throughout this entire thing that we do. To get good performance in VR, I have to drop my settings so much that it's almost not worth the Pimax Crystal Light's clarity being that good, because good clarity on crap graphics still looks like crap graphics. Whereas if it had been like a slightly lower res headset, I think it's 8K per eye, correct me if I'm wrong, I probably am wrong to be fair, but I'd rather it be like 1 or 2K, well probably 2K per eye let's say, so that it's like running 4K rather than it being like running 16K, because even when I'm managing 150 FPS locked, it jumps between anywhere from 75 to less than 10 when I'm using VR, and that's with the settings like massively reduced, and I just don't personally think that it's worth that loss of graphical fidelity just to be able to say that experiencing it as if I'm sat in the plane. But that opinion might change when I actually get it to work properly, so I'm going to persevere, especially since it was free. I think if I'd had to buy one, then I just wouldn't have done so, especially not at the price point that it's at. But because it was free, I feel like I can spend as much time as they allow for me to tune it until I can get it working properly, so I'm going to do that for you guys before I actually review it properly. I'm also going to try it in some different games than DCS. I'll probably look at War Thunder with it, and I'll probably look at VTOL VR since that's built ground up for VR, and fingers crossed I can pull a positive experience out of it, because most of the reviews that I see, everyone's like raving on about it, but it's not what I've experienced so far. But I don't want to be the one guy that reviews it negatively if it's just my fault for not persevering with it. So hopefully that didn't bore you too much and you actually made it to the aerial section. Obviously, like with the F5, everything that we encounter in the Viper has a range advantage over us because we're the only thing that can't carry Fox 1s, unless we encounter an F5, but I doubt that will happen somehow. Alright, so hopping in with some post-commentary briefly, we are about to merge with the Hornet, which will be our first encounter of the video. And lessons learned the hard way from this. I trusted the data link for far too long. I should have started turning and looking a lot sooner than this. And when I do see him, which is about here, I'm used to being quite gentle with the F5 because I have to be careful with its energy management, but I assumed that because the Viper is more modern, has a better and better thrust to weight, that it will retain its energy far better than it did. And it's easy to forget that the Viper is actually a delta wing of sorts, so if you do this, you basically just bleed all your energy off in a matter of seconds, and you'll see that it, spoiler alert, it doesn't really pan out very well for me. And now I do personally feel that the Hornet's performance is better than it should be to some extent, but I definitely fucked up here by overdoing it with the pull back on the stick. I could have played it much better. I probably still would have lost anyway, just through inexperience, but I'll go back to the live commentary recording from here and pick it back up with the post commentary later. This is very bad. Very bad indeed. He still has... yeah, wow. The Hornet's an absolute joke. I don't know what the fuck I could have even done better in that situation. I literally had... he had fucking bombs on and all sorts of shit. He managed to out-dogfight me with 4 fucking bombs on when I was clean. That is actually just a meme. Wow. I did better in the fucking F5. Right, so what I learned from that experience is that I cannot get slow, because if I do, the Hornet can be covered in fucking, I don't know, parachutes and still outperform me, apparently. I can't believe it was that covered in bombs and still just had no problem at all maintaining the energy. Very sus, if you ask me, that it could be that potent at BFM. Especially because I was clean. Like, what the fuck? I genuinely can't believe that the flight models are like that. And I know a lot of people will be saying skill issue, right? And to be fair, that's probably true. But think about it. He had 4 like 1,000-pound plus bombs on. He's in a bigger plane anyway. He has less thrust anyway. I was clean, and he still outperformed me in the dogfight. What the fuck? Right. Let's try again, shall we? Okay, so post-commentary back again. We are about to merge with a Harrier. So I know that the Harrier is a ground attacker and I don't expect it to be a competent Gen 4 dogfighter, so despite what I said before about maintaining my energy, I thought I'll use this Harrier engagement as a test and I'll just try and see what my performance advantage gives me and how careful I actually need to be. So I'm full sending it in a way that's probably really dumb to do against something like a Hornet. But I thought I'd get away with against a Harrier, and even on this first turn when he gets guns there, I'm starting to rethink my strategy, so I'm like diving for energy, I'm starting to not pull so hard, I'm allowing the speed to come back a little bit quicker, and eventually I will end up getting him into a rate fight. He actually gets a hit on me there, but thankfully doesn't do any damage, and from here we'll revert back to the live commentary again as before. Maybe the Viper's just terrible. I've not really flown it in this way before. It's slightly depressing that it's this bad. I don't feel like I should be able to pull so hard that it gets this slow, like it should just be faster than this. I'm not sure if I'm going to rip my wing off if I pull too hard as well at this point, which is a little bit concerning me. Now crash. So I feel like I'm gradually getting better at this point because I'm starting to get a better feel for how much speed bleed you lose when you pull a certain amount. I'm getting used to whether or not to leave the afterburner on to retain the energy through the turn, or whether I can afford to come back off it, because there's a point where if you're pulling full backstick and you're at max thrust, then the F-16 just kind of goes ballistic, and instead of losing speed you actually gain it and just end up compressing through that. An example of that is about to happen here. I'm not actually in burner at the moment, but I thought I'd be able to pull out from this, doing 600 knots, pulling full backstick, coming off the throttle using the air brakes, and it's just not enough. This really isn't going well. Goes to show how much more confident you can be in an airframe that you're familiar with though, because I went into this expecting to do better than I am just because I'm in a plane better than what I used last time. But I'm a lot less familiar with the Viper, especially in BFM, because you just don't use it for that very often. You tend to just, you know, ripple off missiles and shit from 40 miles away. So clearly I suck at using it as a dogfighter, but maybe this will help me get better. So from here my luck started to improve a little bit. I actually ended up going offline because of a server crash, and then coming back to it, and a little bit later on I hop on with Maureen, one of my subscribers, and it actually goes pretty well. So here we're head to head with the Hornet. He's fired a Fox 1 at me. Obviously I can't compete with that really, so I fire off a Fox 2 long just on the off chance that it might get him if he doesn't defend, and he might just sail into it. And for whatever reason he just turns away from me and backs out. So I turn back hot. I still have visual on him, I can see him flaring, and he's like flanking away from me, he's not nose hot. So I fire another Fox 2 because I was expecting him to just recommit onto me immediately, but he didn't. I have absolutely no idea why he did what he did. Obviously that second Fox 2 is not going to get there, but here I just keep the radar off him for a little bit because I don't want him to know where I am. I don't think he's realised that we've merged. I'm going to go dogfight mode so that the radar goes into silent mode, and then just pull in behind him. And you can see how much better I'm maintaining the speed through this. Like, held 560 knots through the turn, just because I'm feeling better about the energy management now. And we managed to chase up, catch him, and gun kill him. I was pretty happy with that. And then immediately afterwards, because obviously I used both my missiles on the same guy with no kill, we just go back and land. And then after this, we're flying with Murray. Alright, so this is the first kill of the sortie that I actually feel like I worked for and earned, rather than it just being against someone that wasn't really aware, or that was like with a missile, and I feel like missile kills are just kind of cheating. Much like with the first Hornet engagement where I trusted the Dale link too much, I feel like I'm falling in that trap now. It keeps switching between my left and my right side, and I'm never sure which to trust immediately. Obviously right now this Strike Eagle is tracking left, but according to my RWR, I've been shot at by him, so Dale link obviously lagging a little bit. I spot him around this point, and obviously it's a Strike Eagle. I'm in a clean F-16 in F5 steroid mode. So just go straight vertical. I should be lighter than him and have a thrust advantage, no matter what fuel state he's in, really. Unless he's like literally on fumes. But I don't expect a Strike Eagle to be that good at dogfighting, so we go for the one circle. We get some hits on that crossover, but it doesn't seem to have done too much to him. And I figure I'll just keep him in the one circle because I should have the weight and the thrust advantage. But he holds with me surprisingly well. I don't play Jet Force that much, so I'm not sure if this is because I'm underestimating the Strike Eagle or overestimating the F-16. It looks like he still has tanks on and bombs and all sorts of stuff. I'm also getting shot by a Hawk's Eye, so I'm trying to plan my like dips and dives and climbs so that I'm low enough to break that lock. Continuing the roller with him, and here I think that this is looking pretty bad. I'm probably going to end up giving him a shot, so I roll under him. It's going to force him to dive directly downwards if he wants a shot, and he goes for it. Miraculously just about avoids crashing into the ground again, so the F-15 must have pretty damn good AOA at low speed. I throttle back to let him shoot out in front, and then this is going to be all she wrote. There we go. But I still don't feel like it should have taken that long to kill a Strike Eagle. The F-16 is kind of a disappointment in this flight regime, I have to admit. I do feel like I did better in the F5, which is a little bit depressing. But we still got time to do better. Yeah, if you go first, I'll just follow you. Just let me know when you're moving.
Yeah. Brakes on, burner and off the brakes, and away we go. Being yelled at that I was not cleared for takeoff.
I can see like 4 red things in very close proximity on dialing.
Yeah.
About 20 miles away. And a big splash up ahead. I'm gonna go for that high guy, like the leftmost hostile contact.
Oh yeah, that one's really high up. Oh, that's probably you looking at me rather than...
No, I've got my radar off.
That'll be something ground related.
I'm trying to find this guy visually, but the lockbox just keeps bouncing around all over the place. Well, not the lockbox, the like data link track. I'm being locked from my like 1 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Oh, he's on the deck now. Wait, what? Is he dead? What? I'm confused.
Now, oh no, now he is considerably high. Where the fuck? What am I seeing here? Oh, data link is like, he's up there. No, he's down here. No, he's up there again.
Fox 2, I think he might be dead though.
They're right on top of me, very high up.
I got it.
Oh, he's directly underneath me. Okay. Thank you, data link. Incredibly accurate summary of his location.
Altitude. Block. Altitude.
No, there's something else like right off mine.
Yeah, something down low.
Fox 2.
Cat flare.
Got him, I think. Yeah.
Oh. Whoop. He got me.
Oh, fuck. Well, time to bravely run away. Question is, should I now go and very foolishly try and gun kill someone? Or intelligently land and not be stupid?
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This guy has no idea I'm here. He's way faster than me though, which is not good. Well, that's 3 in one, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm confused though because I got a gun track even though my radar's off.
Altitude.
And I don't know how that works.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't, does it? So that's going to be it for today, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, a comment if you want to ask any questions or anything like that. Share your own experiences. Consider hopping in the Discord if you want to be Murray in this video. You can fly alongside me or act as a meat shield. Distract their attention, that kind of thing. Check out the links in the description because of the Pimax affiliation. I'll be working on the VR review as time goes on. Not sure when it will be ready though, but if that sounds interesting then stick around. I hope I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.